Guten Tag, meine Freunde. I am Rodolfo Ramos, Bradesco BBI's Mexico strategist, and welcome to This What's What in Mexico, our bi-weekly video product to give you our latest views. So as you can see here, I'm trying to dust off my German here in beautiful Zurich with Münsterbrücke behind me. So I hope that you find this scenery soothing and beautiful. So we'll jump right to it. We have a lot of ground to cover, as we usually do after 2 weeks of development. So we'll jump right into it. First, we're going to be covering a lot of new developments happening on the US-Mexico front. We'll give you all the latest, everything you need to know. Second, we're going to be covering our views on the recent Mexican banking convention. And thirdly, we're going to be covering some of our latest views on the equity side, on the market side. So kicking off here with our first point on the US-Mexico front, when we were shooting our video a couple of weeks ago, immediately after, there were new announcements on the tariff fronts, and they were actually positive. So Donald Trump's administration announced that auto parts were going to be excluded from tariffs should they be USMCA compliant. They're also introduced a credit system that basically makes it more flexible for companies, particularly automakers in the U.S., to export or to import certain parts and not be disruptive to the supply chain. So this is something that happened right after we published that video. We've also seen a recent new blockage of cattle exports from Mexico to the U.S. as a result of this screwworm infestation. So this is something that negotiators have been addressing before, and we need to keep an eye out for. And the other point that is extremely relevant for Mexico is this new bill that was introduced in the U.S. Congress to tax remittances done by non-U.S. citizens and nationals. This would be a 5% tax that if you are a U.S. citizen, you can later deduct in your annual declaration. But if you're not, you're going to see that 5% basically go to the government. This is something that can affect Mexico significantly and actually mirrors a little bit of a bill that was previously introduced and not successful by J.D. Vance. So we do believe that there is a clear intent to address this idea of taxing remittances, and we'll see what the likelihood is of their approving, because there might be some Republicans, even though they have a majority in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, there might be some Republicans that might not be on board with it. So we'll have to see what happens in these discussions. But if you take that 3.5, that remittances make up 3.5% of GDP, and if you apply a 5% to that, you're talking about 18 bips of Mexico's GDP that could be impacted. So it's quite significant and something that we need to monitor there. So these are some of the things that have been happening on the U.S.-Mexico front. Also, recently we got a little bit of more flavor of what we can expect in terms of timeline for the USMCA review. Marcelo Ebrard, Mexico's Minister of Economy, said that we could be seeing a successful review by the second half of this year. This is a little bit ahead of the official timeline that was set to conclude next year. So we believe that if that were to be the case, it would certainly be a win for Mexican negotiators. So this is what we wanted to discuss on the U.S.-Mexico front. It will be very, very dynamic. We believe the next challenge for the Claudia Sheinbaum administration will be to navigate this claim by the U.S. that Mexico is colluded with criminal organizations. We saw recently the governor of Baja California state being revoked, having her visa being revoked for undisclosed reasons. But we know what those reasons normally are when that happens. So we'll have to see what the explanations are on that front. It's a very difficult and sensitive topic for Sheinbaum to monitor, because it's a large government, and sometimes these things happen at a more local level. So this will be a challenge for her to control and lead this narrative going forward. So this was the first point that we wanted to discuss. The second, on the banking convention that happened last week in Puerto Vallarta, We didn't see any major red flags happening. As you know, we have been more cautious towards the sector. But Claudia Sheinbaum did say specifically and explicitly that Mexico has a problem of low penetration, of low access to credit. Also, Banxico's governor Rodriguez voiced this view, and she came in very Sheinbaum fashion, prepared with a deck of slides to highlight all of the achievements that her government has made, and also some of these points that I've just talked about. She had a chart there mapping out the profits per year for the whole sector. Last year was a record year for profits for Mexico's banking sector. It also showed the return on assets that the Mexican banking system has vis-a-vis other countries, and Mexico starts in the far left, being one of the most profitable systems in many countries. No, so this is something that the sector will have to navigate. How do you make a much more inclusive sector, and also, of course, protect their businesses? No, and this comes at a time that they also are likely going to be struggling more with all these digital efforts made by some of the new players, some of which have already gotten a banking license. No, so it will be a very dynamic sector. You know, we didn't see anything majorly concerning out of the Mexican banking convention, but we do believe that cautious is warranted on that front. So moving on to our third and final point, we recently took the opportunity to downgrade Mexico to a neutral in a LATAM context. This was a very timely call given the recent performance of markets. Here taking a victory lap in the name of our team. But we do see many of the drivers that we cited before when we were more optimistic. We believe that they're still in play. It's just the upsides are different. This is more of a strategic shift. We continue to believe that at the end of all of these negotiations are done, we do believe that nearshoring will emerge stronger. So this is something that has also driven our allocation when it comes to Mexico. We do like all of these industrial plays. We also like the consumer side. We saw how they several of them reported a challenging quarter, yet prices reacted positively. You know, so a lot of this was baked in the sector. So this was something comforting to see as we went through the first quarter of 2025 results. So we continue to like this basic consumption and believe that the Mexican government will continue to implement policies that bolster people's incomes. No? And finally, we continue to believe that infrastructure and housing is a good place to be. We are seeing new activity and new development of policies on the Sheinbaum side that will address some of the infrastructure needs and also housing needs. And this was interesting to see that they have upped the targets for low-income housing from 1 million to about 1.3 million. So if this does happen, we do believe that all of the supply chain there will benefit on that front. So this is what we had for you today, amigos. This does not conclude our European tour. We'll be here for the rest of the week. But you feel free to reach out to us with any questions. We'll leave all of the reports in the links below. And take care, amigos, and have a great one. Ciao, ciao. Tschüss.